Welcome to the Crisis of Sports Taekwondo. Today is a symposium. Welcome to this symposium where we're going to discuss about the crisis in sports Taekwondo. I'm Master Sarah Chang, 1992 Asian champion as well as Olympian. I'm also studying my PhD in education, so I am a PhD candidate. Today we're going to talk about the crisis in sports Taekwondo. First of all, we like to know what is the definitions of sports versus games. I wrote it down here. This is the one. What is sports and what is games? Generally, games is any sports that play by at least two people and more, of course, while sports is a physical activity that formed by an individual, where that individual will perform at the highest level. In Olympics term, higher, stronger, faster. So that person will have to demonstrate a level of power or artistic performance. Therefore, sports consists of artistic performance, not only stronger and higher or faster. When you do faster, you need to have a certain techniques. When you want to go higher or high jumper, you need to have a certain methodology. If you want to go faster, stronger, higher, we need to have a certain formula. And also not forgetting a certain techniques which comes into artistic performance. Now, let's look at foot fencing. Taekwondo have been going through tremendous changes since the 1988 Olympic Games. And that was the first time it was shown to the world what is Taekwondo, even though it was just a demonstration event. But that was the first time people learned about Taekwondo in the Olympic Games. Now, what is Taekwondo? If you talk about Taekwondo, most people would think that is a Korean karate, which means it's a kind of martial arts. But when it goes to Olympic Games, people think that it's a sports, a combat sports. Do we still need to apply martial arts in sports Taekwondo? Or do we need to apply sports Taekwondo in martial arts? Do you think we should take out the martial arts component in Taekwondo and just focus on sports? If this is the case, we also need to maintain the artistic elements of Taekwondo. In reality, it is not possible to take out the martial arts component of Taekwondo from martial arts Taekwondo into sports Taekwondo. Because in sports, we talk about stronger, higher, faster, but also the artistic component of Taekwondo. Because Taekwondo, the do, not only a way of life, but it's an art. So if you put Taekwondo in the Olympic Games, we need to perform the do, which is the art of the Taekwondo. Otherwise, we will call it Taekwondo. Many people on social media mention that Taekwondo looks like a foot fencing. I wrote it down here, foot fencing, because they don't see much upper body movement besides the punching, straight punching, right? So they call Taekwondo a kind of foot fencing. It's like fencing but using the foot or our feet. So do you like the name Taekwondo changed to foot fencing? I don't. Therefore, in real sports Taekwondo, perhaps we need to look into performing Taekwondo as a sport and also an art. Therefore, we need to express a certain techniques in Taekwondo that we think should be an artistic component of the arts or Taekwondo. Therefore, if we include Taekwondo in sports Olympic Games, it must have the both component, martial arts and sports Taekwondo. Because in sports Taekwondo, we talk about fitness, cardiovascular, principle of physical fitness in terms of health and also in terms of skill. In sports, we also talk about competitions and rules and artistic performance. But then on the other side, Taekwondo as a martial arts, we talk about the philosophy behind it, we talk about the artistic expression, we talk about the artistic techniques. Therefore, do you think Taekwondo should be called Taekwondo in the Olympics or foot fencing in the Olympics? Because many people call Taekwondo as foot fencing. They don't see many upper body movement, elbow or strike. They don't see much aggressive techniques. They don't see much artistic technique of the kicks. I learned Taekwondo since I was a kid. I learned both the martial arts and the sports component of Taekwondo. I love it to be both. I did my undergraduate in kinesiology, physical and health education. Taekwondo should be part of sports and part of the arts. In my opinion, I think we should limit the cut kick. Although there's a competition rule to limit side kick or cut kick, in my opinion, we should consider giving points for athletes who perform first, who make the move first, who have more aggressive techniques. We should encourage advanced kicking. We should give more points to athletes who perform a superior techniques. We should always encourage the coaches to learn certain techniques at a higher level so that the coaches can encourage the athlete to perform a certain superior techniques. If the athlete make a move first, the athlete should be given 1 point or extra point, maybe half point. If the athlete show or perform superior techniques, for example, back kick, backswing kick, that athlete should get more points or points. I would like to bring more attention regarding concussion in sports Taekwondo or in martial arts Taekwondo. Concussion to the head. Especially 3 points will be given to athletes who execute a kick to the head. In my opinion, it is not that safe. In order to qualify as the Olympic Games, the sports has to show the safety part of the games. And when we give 3 points by kicking to the head, we actually encourage concussion. Although we have headgear to protect the head, but the headgear is not 100% safe. Why? Because when there is an impact to the headgear is electronic equipment, it will generate points, right? So when there's a certain impact, point will be given, and it is 3 points, which means we encourage concussion to the head. So what is concussion? A concussion is a brain injury by blowout or by knocking, by kicking, by punching that cannot be determined or cannot be traced. Sometimes a brain injury that cannot be seen by routine x-rays, by MRIs, or by scan CT or CT scan. Brain injury or concussion can affect the cognitive ability, the thinking skill, can affect our thinking ability, our memory function, and we use all those cognitive and memory skill for our daily lives. Imagine we are not able to have a good memory. Imagine we lack of certain cognitive skill or cognitive ability, such as thinking rationally. I strongly encourage you to watch a movie called Concussion, year 2015 by Will Smith. Check it out. From this movie, you will have more understanding about concussion, why we should always protect our brain. Therefore, I personally do not encourage athletes to kick to the head just because they want to have 3 points. In addition to that, because kicking to the head give more points or get more points, coaches tend to look for athletes who are taller, because if you're taller, you have a longer leg to reach your opponent. Because of certain competition rules, coaches or athletes prefer to use side kick or cut kick because they have a longer leg. The cut kick can prevent people to attack them, right? That's why people call Taekwondo is a kind of foot fencing. Although taller athletes have the advantage by having longer legs, by having the advantage of doing side kick or cut kick to prevent your opponent to attack you, I think this side kick or cut kick should be only applied 1 to 2 times in the whole competition. In general, shorter athletes are more mobile, have more agility, can have more agility to move. Taller athletes, even though their legs are longer, they can reach, but then their movement relatively slower than the not so tall athlete. I don't want to say they're shorter, but I say not so tall athletes. So we have to encourage inclusivity. We should encourage athletes of all heights to compete in Taekwondo. I will not discriminate athletes who are shorter, but they are really strong, they are really fit. But because of the competition rules, prevent them to perform at their best, right? They can do really good flying kick, jump kick, spinning hook kick, and they are really fast. But when we change the rules to encourage more action taker to attack first, I am sure many athletes will love to be the attacker. I'm sure many shorter athletes will love to perform. We also need to change the coaches' training. It is necessary to train our coaches to encourage the athlete to apply various techniques. We need to change the competition rules. So in summary, first of all, we need to eliminate or reduce or restrict side kick or cut kick to 1 or 2 times in the whole competition. Secondly, we need to change the competition rules by taking away kicking head is 3 points. We should reduce 3 points by kicking to the head to 1 point, because we should not encourage athletes to kick to the head to get 3 points. This is to prevent concussion and also to prevent coaches picking only the athlete who have long legs or taller. Thirdly, we should encourage coaches training involve in various kicking techniques or various techniques in competitions. We should also encourage discipline for not action. We encourage action taker to attack first by giving them extra point, but we also need to discipline athletes who do not take action. This is my opinion and this is my 2 cents. You're welcome to join my Facebook or my Instagram, and have a happy new year. Cheers.